Joy Church, get ready to scream and cheer and do backflips because we are so excited to announce the new. But before we make that announcement about what's going to happen in the future, we need to talk about what has happened to us in the past. It was almost 8 years ago in October, that Joy Church Grants Pass was planted. We were happy, we were thriving at Joy Church Medford. We have an amazing relationship with Joy Church Medford. I was on staff. I was working on the building and with the Bible college. I was working with the worship team. I mean, all sorts of different areas. We were leading the young adults group. We were very, very active. Danny was working with...
I was doing worship, helping with young adults, doing the food pantry that was just so near and dear to my heart. We were just both so incredibly active in Joy Medford. Loved it.
Yeah, loved it then and still love it now.
Absolutely.
But we attended this conference. It was actually the Global Leadership Summit, which has just happened a couple weeks ago at the time of this filming. And one thing that the leaders were talking about at this summit was this concept of finding your white hot why, the thing that you go to bed thinking about at night, and the thing that wakes you up in the morning, the thing that you want to dedicate your life to, that you want to look back on your life and say, I left it all out there. I left it all on the field. I did something. I built something. And as we were driving home from this conference in Eugene, we were driving my parents' little Volkswagen Beetle from the Teapot on Wheels that had flowers all over it. So that made me feel very, very manly. I looked over at Danny and I said, I love the concept of talking about this white hot why, but I feel bad because I don't think I have mine. I mean, we're happy, we're doing the things that we want to do. Our family's great, we're comfortable, but I feel like I don't have that thing. And she looked over at me and said some very, very scary words.
Yes.
You said...
I said, we're supposed to pastor a church.
And I said, don't you dare say that. Never say that again. That is absolutely not what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because that would be such a scary venture. And so we got to talking about it. And eventually I said, okay, listen, we're going to pray about this. And we are not going to tell a soul. We're not going to tell our pastors, our friends, leaders, anybody we know. This is going to be something that maybe lives in our heart. And if God brings this around, if he causes this to happen, then we'll say yes. We'll say yes to whatever he wants to do. So, of course, lo and behold, a couple of weeks later, we had what's called a presbytery service, or otherwise known as maybe a prophetic gathering, where certain people who have a prophetic gift, they come and they bring couples or individuals up to the stage, and even without knowing them, without knowing who they are, they'll prophesy about those people and about their lives and what they're supposed to do. And so we attend this service, but we were not scheduled to go through.
No.
We were just watching friends, supporting. And of course, you get to the very last night, the very last couple goes through, and maybe not you, I breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, we made it through.
They actually closed the service down.
Yeah.
They prayed out. And it was over and everyone had stood up to leave. And then they stood up and they said, oh, wait a second. We have just a couple more things to say, which of course was, I knew that was the second when they were going to get me. And so they said, we want to prophesy over a few more people, starting with them. And they pointed out into the crowd at us. They brought us up onto the stage and they just read our mail over and over. You have been preparing, you have been training for this. And I had achieved my master's degree. We had worked on worship. We'd worked in almost every department of the church. And they said, you've been preparing for a long time. You guys are like arrows that have been polished and you're getting ready to be sent out. And it was just one after another. They said, you guys have been preparing and it's time for you guys to go. And we were completely floored because we had just had this conversation where we said, we're not going to talk about this, we're not going to broadcast it, but if God brings it around, we're going to listen.
So we waited, and it was another couple of weeks after that. There's another traveling pastor coming through, and he preached a message, and then he stood up at the very end of service, and he said, "I have to talk to these people right here," and he points at us, but I have to do it after service because it would dishonor the house for me to just say it right now. So after service, he comes right down and he said, God's just telling me that you guys have to go. You're supposed to go out and plant. And it was confirmation after confirmation that we were supposed to go and plant a church.
Yeah, and it happened a couple more times after that as well. And even us meeting with our pastors, they were just like, it's time. And for us, we absolutely love Joy Church Medford so much. It was, God had started to stir that when we had attended the conference of planting a church and pastoring a church, and gave us that kind of unsettling feeling like we knew there was more, but it wasn't ever in our plans to plant a church or leave Joy Medford, which we love so much.
Yeah, and we still have an amazing relationship with Joy Church Medford. Pastor Steve and Kim, and now Riley and Natalie. We decided in our hearts we don't want to go out in a way that damages the house.
Yes.
And so we took a couple of years and we just took it slow and submitted to leadership there and said, when it's the right time, it's the right time. And so, we raised up leaders to take over the departments that we were in and tried to make sure that we covered all the bases as best we could. And so we still have a thriving and awesome, strong relationship with Joy Church Medford and with the rest of the Joy churches as well. So that's a little bit of our backstory. October 22nd was our soft launch, but November 5th was 2017 was our grand opening service. And we didn't know where we were going to meet. We didn't know what we were going to do for a building. And so we put a date on the calendar, and then we came out and started looking, and we just happened to get invited to a Switchfoot concert. And the concert was at a place downtown called the Rogue Theater. It's a classic theater. And so we go to this theater, and it is absolutely packed with people.
Right.
And we watched this concert, and we're sitting there the whole time. We love Switchfoot, so jamming to Switchfoot, but also looking around like this would be a really great venue for a church.
Right.
So we called the owner and we said, hey, everything you do is on Saturday nights and concerts and all of that. Can we rent it for Sunday mornings? He said, yeah, that would be great because I could fill that slot. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Oh, there's Danny.
Hi guys.
We're coming at you live from the historic Rogue Theater in Grants Pass. You can see who's on the marquee here coming up soon. 10,000 Maniacs are going to want to be a part of that. Anyway, we're so excited to show you what's going on in our neck of the woods. We're going to be launching October 22nd. You want to see what it looks like inside. This is our new venue, the historic Rogue Theater. Woo! Woo! We're so excited to embark on this whole new endeavor. We've got some of our launch team here. We got Sean in the board. Hey, say hi, Sean. Hello. Hello. We've got some of the rest of the team on stage up here, about ready to perform. We got Dawn, Mackenzie. We got 1,400 kids. We got Shelly. Look at Shelly wave. Only problem is there was no room, there was no space for any kinds of kids' church, and we are all about next generations. Yes. And so we needed something where kids could have their space. And so what did we do? Well, we were kind of out of options. So we walked down the street. We just started walking from the Rogue Theater, and we're like, what buildings are available? It just so happened that there was a Oddfellows Lodge at the other corner of the block. And so we called them. I think you called.
Yes, it was the only
space nearby.
That looked like it could be a possibility. And so we looked at the door, and of course it has the Oddfellows logo and everything on it. And we're like, well, this is the only place. This is the only option. So we're going to call. And I called and I met with them, and they said, this is so weird that you called us just now, because just last week at our meeting,
it might have been last night. It might have been the night
Yes,
before.
You're right, because it was a Thursday that I met with him, and they meet on Wednesday nights. And he said, just last night we were meeting together, and we were trying to think of a way that we could reach the children of our community in Grants Pass. And we were asking them to open their doors to us to run our kids ministry.
Yeah, and we were willing to pay to rent the space out.
Yes.
But they said, we just remodeled it. We have new kitchen, flooring, all this space, and we want you to use it for free.
They said, we don't want to charge you anything.
Yeah. So it was the answer to prayer, and it was simply us just putting one foot in front of the other to see what would open up in front of us. And our kids met there the entirety of the time that we were at the Rogue Theater. They were in there for 6 years. They grew. There was all kinds of leaders who were involved with that. So many of you leaders of Kids Church who were just, I mean, so servant oriented to make it happen over there with setup and transporting the kids back and forth. But it was just one thing after another that opened up in front of us as we went along. And so we met for 6 years at the Rogue Theater and the Odd Fellows, and we did all kinds of really amazing, exciting stuff in there. I mean, we had to work around logistics. You can't baptize somebody in somebody else's old theater around all their electronic equipment. And so we baptized in pools and in the river and in jacuzzis and in...
We got creative.
Oh, wherever we could. We had a helicopter drop where we invited the community and thousands of people showed up.
Yes.
We dropped Easter eggs out of the helicopter. We had Christmas movies that we made available to the community because we're in a classic theater, and we thought, why not take advantage and hand out toys and have free popcorn and hot chocolate? Yeah. I mean, we did so many amazing community events, and just the memories from our time there. Was everything perfectly ideal? Was everything perfectly situated all the time? No, it wasn't. And the team just had so much excitement for what God was doing in the community, and the way that God just continued to open up doors and, helicopters, people being excited about the mission. I called one person to see if they would drop candy out of a helicopter, and they said, well, our rate is pretty high. It's $10,000 an hour.
Right.
I called the next guy that I don't even know where we got his phone number. Someone on Facebook told us, and he said, I'll come do it for free. We went with the free one.
Yes. Yeah.
So many amazing things happened. We would come in on a Saturday, or we'd come in on a Sunday morning after there was a wild and crazy concert the night before. And Hell's Bells. I mean, we're talking all kinds of suspect sort of night dwellers who would be in the theater the night before. And we would come in, and our team, so many of you would come in and you would clean, we would scrub, we would pick up all kinds of items that no human should have at any time. No. Things left behind.
Children would bring us things sometimes from the dream team, and we were like, thank you so much. Please go wash your hands.
Yeah, but amidst all of that struggle, amidst making it work when conditions were not ideal, our team, our leadership team, our dream team, so many of you who serve in the house forged this kind of bond that we're doing this together. We're in the trenches. We're building something beautiful together. And would I plan on doing it that way? No, probably not. But man, I think it really turned us into a team where we really are in it for the long haul. We love each other. We're going the same direction. We're pulling the same direction. And we're not scared to roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty. And so that was an amazing time. Come fall of 2023, the Odd Fellows needed to reclaim their building, and things were happening with the theater, and so we had to make a move. And so we got a 1 month notice right before Thanksgiving. Saying you need to move your couple of hundred people and everything you do somewhere else. And so that started an absolute mad dash.
Oh, yeah.
We had to compile our sound system. We had to get our video projection. We had to find another facility. We had to figure out all of the ins and outs of setup and tear down. We had to figure out how to transport all of this to and from the theater every week. And again, the team stepped up and we made it happen. And we have been at Southgate Cinema ever since that time. And it's been great. Again, there are logistics that we have to work around. We don't get as much time in the building as we want. We don't get the kind of decor and cleanliness that maybe we would otherwise prefer. But just like everywhere else we've been, our team, those of you who have just been attending and been part of the church, It has been so amazing because the people of God, God's church it's not just the dwelling, the building that you happen to be in. It's comprised of the people that he's called out, the ecclesia. He's called out to be his own gathered people. And no matter where we have been, there are so many of you in the church who have stepped up to the plate and just made it happen, whether it's easy or hard or whether it's convenient or not. And it's been an amazing thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going back to the historic Rogue Theater, just making it through COVID times and online church, and then just transitioning into a new facility in less than 30 days, and buying trailers and getting it there, and we, getting a storage unit in the parking lot that got broken into and everything got stolen, rebuilding from that. Here at Southgate Cinemas, the team has just been in carriers of that spirit of joy and excitement for what God's doing. And so it's just been super amazing. The team here, the Joy Dream team, is absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, just to point out a couple of departments, the kids have had to make do wherever they're at. And whether that's been with Dom and Mac or with Aaron and Mary Beth and so many of you others that help on that team. I don't want to take all of our time just naming servants who work in kids ministry. You guys have done an amazing job with less than perfect conditions. Next Track, who's been headed by Jan, my mom, but now has been taken over by John and Sue Newell, and are absolutely rocking it, amazing it. It's taking it to a whole
has been amazing.
Oh yeah, to a whole different level. And again, we've had to make do. We don't have a permanent spot, and so we have to set up in there, and we have to tear down. We have to make sure that stuff is moved around where it's supposed to be, and chairs are set up. But you guys have been doing it and making it happen. Our prayer team, same kind of thing. It's you want your own space, and we want that, but we've had to make do. First Impressions. Our worship team, gosh, talk about servants. You might not know this about the worship team, but we have a 4-hour window at the theater where we can get in around 8 and we have to be out by noon. Well, we have to get there and trailer all of the speakers and soundboard and all of the audio equipment in, get it set up in time for worship, and then at the end of service, get it all torn down and safely put away and then taken off the premises. They have been above and beyond servants, just taking care of their department. It's been amazing to see. So many of you have been so incredibly flexible. You bent over backwards to make the vision happen, and we couldn't be more thankful. We couldn't be more thrilled. We couldn't think to ask for another team, a different team, than those of you who serve on the Dream Team and the leadership team. We're so thankful for who you are. For your guys' service, and the fact that not only do you come and serve at all, you come and serve maybe in less than perfect conditions with great attitudes. And that's how you know that you guys, you're doing it heartily as unto the Lord, not for man, not for anybody else. You do it because it's a sacrifice of service. It is a reasonable worship that you give to God because you care about him, you care about his people, and you care about his house. So the whole time that we've been meeting together in these various spaces, Joy Church has wanted its own building. We have wanted a permanent location, and we have looked at a lot of them. Every building we've looked at would have needed to be fully remodeled. It was used for some other purpose besides a church. And if you've ever looked for a building before, you would know that not everyone designs buildings to seat hundreds of people. No. And so not only would we have to overcome the financial pressure of buying the building in the first place, you also would have to have the cash on hand to remodel the entire thing, to turn it into something that's actually better, that has a space for kids, has an auditorium, it has storage and all of that. And so we've looked at various different places, and after looking at many of them, we found out that there was a local church in town, River Valley, that was moving facilities. They meet right downtown in their downtown campus, and they've been there for a long time, but they got the opportunity to move into the Flying Lark. And we found out that their building was becoming vacant. Now, some of you heard that too, because
many a phone calls.
I think they got at least 10 phone calls from those of you in our congregation before we actually reached out to them. So thank you to all of you guys who care about it so much. And so we started the conversation of possibly acquiring the building that they were moving out of. And being the fiscally conservative chap that I am, I like to take things fairly slowly and make sure, A, that they're God, and B, that they're a good financial decision to make.
Yes.
And so, of course, what I do in that situation is dig my heels in and go slow and really consider all of the ramifications. And the first thing that I considered is, it's really the first and only thing. Is this God?
Yeah.
Does God want this to happen, or is this just something that I'm trying to make happen because it would be more convenient, or it would feed into my own pride or something like that? And so I hit my knees and began to pray. I began to pray for a specific scripture that God would share with me that would function as kind of that rhema word, that living word of God, is this just something that I want, or is this something you're leading us into? And I really felt like he gave me Deuteronomy chapter 2. And this is what it says in Deuteronomy chapter 2. Starting in verse 1, it says, "Then we turned and journeyed into the wilderness," and that's exactly like where we have felt like we've been. Nomads in the wilderness, like we've been wandering looking for a permanent home. "In the direction of the Red Sea, as the Lord told me. And for many days we traveled around Mount Seir. Then the Lord said to me," and this is the verse that really jumped out at me, "You have been traveling around this mountain country long enough." That really stuck out in my mind, that you have been doing what you've been doing long enough, and now it's time for a change. What was that change? Well, the beginning of the next sentence says, "Turn northward." Well, interestingly enough, if you look at it on a map, River Valley Church is northward of where we were at. And so then the rest of the chapter is Israel wandering, through a bunch of different people groups, and they're actually hostile to Israel. But God says, no, don't attack them. Nope, just go by them, and I'll take you where you need to go. The chapter goes all the way down. In verse 24, God says this, "Rise up." After saying, no, don't go there. He says, "Rise up, set out on your journey, and go over the valley of the Arnon." Well, that doesn't mean very much to us because we're not familiar with the territory. But what was Arnon? What was the Arnon? The Arnon is a river. He said, "Rise up, set out on your journey, and go over the valley of the river." We're looking at purchasing a building called River Valley. I don't want it to become overly spiritualized and woo-woo or anything like that. But I ask God, if this is you, communicate with me through Scripture. Tell it to me in a way that I can understand. And we went through several negotiations, and the people at River Valley were amazing. Yeah. High integrity. They want the very best for the kingdom of God, and we love them. We appreciate them so much. Through various negotiations and some back and forth and figuring out how it could work for everybody, we are very pleased to announce. Joy Church, get ready to lose your mind. I hope that you're ready to clap and to cheer and to scream and to do literal backflips, because we want to welcome you to the brand new permanent location of Joy Church Grants Pass, the downtown campus of the old River Valley Church, which is now Joy Church Grants Pass, our permanent and forever home. One of the things that we've never had is a really, really great lobby. At the Rogue Theater, we were scrunched into a really small constricted space. And at Southgate Cinema, the lobby area is designed more for the flow of traffic to get people to where they're going. But our idea of church is not just getting somebody where they're supposed to go, it's creating spaces for people to do life together and to fellowship together. And one of the reasons we're so excited about this building is that this big, giant, spacious lobby with all kinds of seating, all kinds of little pockets and areas that people can fellowship, they can talk, they can eat, they can have fun together in this space. And we have more room, but we also have more time. We don't have a time limit where we have to be out of the building or be torn down at a certain time. And so we can utilize whatever time we want so that people can fellowship and so that they can do life together.
Yeah, we've got an awesome cafe in the back where we're going to be able to serve coffee and lots of goodies from snackies. And we've got an info station. There's just so many different areas. I know you guys are all going to miss the posters of Southgate Cinemas and the posters of Rogue Theater. We've always been surrounded by posters, and a lot of that is just out of our control with decor, but we are just so excited to have a space that we can make our own, and just lots of laughter and joy and fellowship is going to be happening right here in this foyer of our very own. So we just cannot wait.
As many of you know, Chris and Shelley Willis are the youth pastors here at Joy, and they have been doing an absolutely amazing job since day one.
Yeah.
They are incredibly faithful. Their kids have been faithful, and now they're in youth group, and we have never had a permanent location. We've been in the Oddfellows building. They've been in OFA downtown. They've been in the 71.5 building, and they have made it work, and it's been great wherever they have gone. But now we get this big, beautiful, well-equipped room to have as a permanent spot for Joy GP students. There's a stage here in the background where instruments can go and we can have live worship. There's speakers and lights. There's access from outside. And then there's also a kitchenette area. And so we can prep food, serve food, and also use this as a multi-purpose area. And it is going to be so amazing for the youth and students at Joy Church.
Yeah, we're super excited because most of you guys know what it takes to run the service, even at the church building, at the theater here, and what it takes to run youth. So much is set up and tear down and worship rehearsal and renting facilities just for them to have a youth group. And this is going to be our very own. So we're so excited for Joy GP students.
You might be wondering, how can I get involved in this project? Well, the good news is that you can pray and you can give. As you probably know, buildings are not the most inexpensive things in the world to buy. And River Valley has done an amazing job negotiating with us to a price that we feel is very, very fair. And not only that, they're including all kinds of equipment in the auditorium and furniture, and lighting and sound. That come as part of a package deal, which makes it so great for us because that makes it as turnkey as possible. We can just come into the building and start operating from day one. But if you're interested in giving, in sowing to what God is doing here at Joy Church, there are multiple ways that you can do that. You can give in a lump sum. You can just drop off a check in person, or you can go to our website and give safely and securely through our Planning Center giving portal. All you do is click on the little drop-down menu, and there is an option in there that says New Building Fund. So you can give that way online. Alternatively, if you want to give and maybe you don't have a lump sum to give all at one time, we have some pledge cards that are printed out and they're available for you at the info desk. And what those allow you to do is you can take maybe a sum that you would like to give, but break it up into a number of installments so that you could say, hey, I want to be faithful to this work. I can't do it all at once, but I can plan it out over 6 months or over a year or whatever time frame you've selected. But we're so thankful for your generosity. There are so many of you in the church who have already started giving to this. You've already gone above and beyond because you know that God's doing something special and important in Grants Pass. and that when you sow into the ministry of what God is doing, He blesses you, He blesses the church, and He blesses this community. Thank you so much for being so generous and being such cheerful givers.